Hello, so I just wanted to do a very quick video for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, just to update you and let you know that at last the Zoomer has passed its MOT. Fantastic. So a problem, or a situation that started last October when I originally took the bike in, and it failed its MOT because of excessive play on the rear wheel, which was the main issue, and also issues with the headlight and rear light bulbs, which was frankly just me not paying attention, has finally in February resolved itself, not without a few glitches on the way, as you know. Obviously, following that fail in October, the garage quoted me £600 labour to replace the swing arm, the main drive gear and the bearings, which all needed replaced because they were badly worn. They quoted me £400 parts, which was right, that was okay, and £600 labour, which I wasn't too happy about. Well, it was maybe a fair price, I don't know, but it wasn't something I wanted to pay at that time. So it was obviously a case of get the bike back home and do the work myself, which you'll have seen if you've followed any of my videos over the last few months. That's been a gradual process. Obviously, getting the parts wasn't the quickest thing to do because of obviously COVID and Brexit in this country as well. I think was delaying the parts arriving in the UK, but we got there in the end, and everything was swapped out. New swing arm, new main drive gear, new bearings. Obviously, I swapped out the lights in the rear brake light, put a new bulb in there, new LED bulb, new bulbs in the front headlights. I also adjusted the beam of the headlights so they weren't going to get me on that. And I thought, great, let's get it into the garage, no problem. Of course, the day I took it into the garage, we had another problem in that in the morning I slipped on the ice and managed to break my wrist. Now, I kind of convinced myself it was just a sprain because I had to get the bike into the garage that afternoon, so rode up to the garage with what turned out to be a broken wrist, but hey. So that was that. So the bike was at the garage, that was in mid-January, and I thought, fine, no problem. And then we had another issue. It was now failing on the fact that the, excuse me, Leo Vince exhaust was far too loud. Now, to be fair, it is a loud exhaust, and I'm not a big fan of loud exhausts myself. The bike I've got came with that exhaust, so, you know, it wasn't anything I'd done to it. But anyway, this was the latest thing that turned up. They wouldn't pass it because the exhaust was too loud. So what I had to then do was hunt around to find a second-hand stock exhaust that I could send to the garage. They seemed to be quite happy just to see I'd got one and I was prepared to swap it over and that they would pass the bike. So eventually I went on eBay, picked up a second-hand, decent quality second-hand exhaust for £99, which included the carriage and everything, getting it to the garage. Now, it was a wee bit more than I wanted to pay, but you know, there wasn't exactly a lot of choice out there, so that's what I went for, and I needed to get it done. So anyway, the exhaust arrived at the dealership, happy days, and they acknowledged that, and then a couple of weeks later, I mean, obviously they knew I'd broken my wrist, so there was no great hurry doing the MOT because I wasn't going to be picking the bike up anytime soon anyway. So finally, a couple of days ago, I got the magic text message which said, your bike has passed, all good, ready to go. And I got an email, a very nice email from the dealer, which is Two Wheels in Edinburgh, saying that they were quite happy. They knew the situation with the injury. They were quite happy to hang on to the bike until such time as I was able to collect it. So finally, the Zoomer has passed its MOT. Now I've just got to get it back home again. The Plasticast here, this is a more modern one than the first put on, which is much lighter weight, it's much better. This is coming off in about 10 days time. I can actually, you know, I could ride the bike now. The hand works for gripping the brake and, you know, fiddling with switching the indicator button, so there's no actual problem with that. The issue is with the way it's designed, I wouldn't be able to hold the grip very well, so I'm not going to risk that. So when this comes off in 10 days time, we'll be able to go up to the dealer, collect the bike, collect the stock exhaust, which will also be there, and finally get the bike back home. And then when I get a bit more strength in the wrist, we can start looking at doing some other things to it and finally get moving again. One thing I do want to do is actually take off the Leo Vince exhaust and fit the stock exhaust and just see how that works with the iMAP and the other bits and pieces on the bike. Because as I said, I'm not a big fan of loud exhausts, and the Leo Vince exhaust is quite loud. So if I can swap it for a stock exhaust and I'm not losing too much in way of initial acceleration and performance, then I'm quite happy to leave it at that. I may even have to tweak some of the settings using the iMap a bit, using the software, maybe lower the fuel input a little bit from where I have it at the moment. But it might be possible to play around and get a decent enough performance. And let's face it, I'm not looking for 40 mile an hour plus speeds or anything like that. I just want a bike that accelerates well and takes off from the lights well and maintains a decent speed going uphill, which at the moment it does with the iMap adjustments I made. It does. If I can maintain that and use a stock exhaust, which is going to be quieter and means I'm not going to have to bother changing exhausts over when I go for the next MOT, which I would have to do if I kept the Leo Vince one on it. We'll see how that goes. So that's projects ahead. I also want to change out the indicator lights. What other things have I got to do? Oh, I'm sure there's other things I want to do in it as well that I've been delayed so long with all this MOT business. But anyway, first things first, we're going to get the bike back in about 10 days time, hopefully when this plastic cast comes off. And then we'll have a look at the whole thing again and look about fitting the stock exhaust and just experiment, play with it, because that's what the Zoomer is a great bike for. You can do things to it, you can play around with it, you can experiment, and it's easy to do because it's very easy to. If it doesn't work, then I can simply put the Leo Vince exhaust back on, run the bike with that, and then when the next MOT comes around next year, just swap the exhaust over so it does for taking it into the garage, and that should be that. So anyway, I just want to say, MOT passed, hooray, success at last. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's offered help and advice during this process and during this period, whether it be online, whether it be friends who I've known through online and now speak to. Special thanks to Scooty Man up in Fife for his unswerving help and interest and advice and encouragement, and all the other guys online through the various forums and discussion groups, whatever who's helped. Thank you very much. Been hugely appreciated. I've done mechanical work that I would never have imagined I'd be able to do, and hell, it worked. So that's great. So anyway, that's it from now. Past the MOT, I've just got to get the plaster off the arm, pick the bike up, and then we'll take it from there, and we'll do some more videos once that's happened. So thanks again, guys. Look after yourself in this crazy COVID world and ride safe, especially if you're out at the moment when there's snow and ice everywhere in this country anyway. And I'll speak to you all very soon. Thanks very much.